This is the last known footage of Lars Mittank. It lasts only a few seconds. The young man sprints out of an airport, drops his backpack, and vanishes forever. Today, we open the file on one of Europe's most haunting modern mysteries, the disappearance of Lars Mittank. Lars was a 28-year-old from Germany, described by loved ones as a normal, happy guy. In the summer of 2014, he went on a holiday trip with friends to the Golden Sands resort in Bulgaria. It was supposed to be a week of sun and fun. But on the last night, a minor argument with other tourists over a football match escalated into a physical altercation. Lars was hit in the head, resulting in a ruptured eardrum. When his friends flew home as scheduled, Lars stayed behind alone. A doctor had advised him not to fly with the ear injury. He checked into a hotel in the nearby city of Varna to recover and rebook his flight. But his time alone took a strange turn. He called his mother, whispering, sounding frightened. He told her 4 men were following him and asked her to cancel his credit cards. Witnesses at the hotel later said he seemed unsettled and even changed rooms during his short stay. The next morning, he went to Varna airport, hoping to get clearance to fly home. At the airport's medical office, a physician began to check his ear, for reasons that remain entirely unclear. Lars suddenly became extremely agitated. He stood up, grabbed his small backpack, walked out of the office and then broke into a dead sprint. Security cameras captured what happened next. We see him leaving the terminal, jogging through the parking lot, and crossing a busy road. He then climbs a high, barbed wire fence that borders the airport, heading toward a large sunflower field. As he runs, he drops his bag. Crucially, there is no sign of anyone chasing him in the footage. After he scales that fence, he vanishes from view, and has never been seen again. What did he leave behind? Inside his backpack were his wallet, his passport, his phone, all the essentials for travel. There was no clear sign that he planned to disappear. After that moment, his phone activity stopped, and his bank accounts were never touched. Friends and family are adamant he had every reason to come home. Bulgarian authorities launched a search of the area around the airport, the fields, the surrounding tree lines, drainage canals, and nearby roads. But they found no confirmed trace of him. Over the years, numerous tips and alleged sightings have surfaced from across Europe, but none have ever been verified. The case remains wide open. Let's recap the timeline. Lars is on holiday with friends at Golden Sands. He suffers an ear injury in an altercation, and a doctor tells him not to fly yet. His friends leave, and Lars stays alone in a hotel in Varna. He makes a fearful call home, asking his mother to cancel his cards. The next day, he goes to the airport clinic to get clearance for his flight. He then abruptly runs out of the terminal, scales a fence, and disappears. So, what could possibly explain this desperate run? Investigators and online sleuths have debated several possibilities. Was it medical? Perhaps a complication from his head and ear injury, or a side effect from medication, caused a sudden psychotic break, panic, or disorientation. Was he running from a real threat? Maybe he feared a repeat encounter with the men from the earlier fight. Or was he the victim of a crime, threatened by someone just off camera? Finally, could it have been a voluntary disappearance, a decision to walk away from his life? This seems unlikely, given he left the very bag he needed to travel and was actively trying to get home. It's the small details that haunt this case. He insisted his cards be cancelled, an unusual move unless he genuinely feared they would be stolen or controlled. He ran without the bag he'd need to survive or travel, as if a fast escape mattered more than anything else. And no one appears behind him on the footage. If he was running from someone, they were either just out of frame or only existed in his mind. Let's look at the landscape. The area beyond that fence is a mix of open ground, thick brush, and access roads that lead toward highways and industrial lots. In the daylight, it's survivable. But at night, or in a state of stress and confusion, anyone could get lost. If he kept moving, he could have reached a main road in minutes. Or, he could have become disoriented in the dense fields with no water in the rising July heat. For years, Lars's family has kept the search alive, tirelessly sharing his story and the chilling footage, asking for confirmed sightings only. They stressed that he was a loved, employed young man who was expected home. The not knowing is the hardest part. There was no final message, no trace left behind, only that desperate run and a silence that has lasted ever since. Here's what we can say for sure. He wanted to fly home and went to the airport to do it. He became suddenly and intensely fearful while at the airport clinic. He left everything he owned and ran into open ground. And there has not been a single verified sighting of him since that moment. This case is often sensationalized, but the known facts are eerie enough on their own. We don't need to invent monsters in the dark. All we have are unanswered questions and a last, desperate decision that took him beyond the reach of the cameras. Let's revisit the main theories. A medical-induced panic. This fits his sudden, irrational behavior. Was he threatened? He spoke like someone who felt they were being watched or followed. Did he vanish on his own? The evidence for this is weak. He left behind his documents and had no plan. Or did he suffer an accident after scaling the fence? This is entirely possible, given the difficult terrain and his lack of resources. If there is an answer, it may lie in the minutes right after his run. Perhaps a driver saw a man crossing the road. Maybe a local worker noticed a trespasser near an industrial lot. It could be a piece of dashcam footage, long since deleted. Cases like this often turn on a single memory that someone hasn't realized is important yet. So, what do you think made Lars run? Was it a medical emergency, a real threat, or something else entirely? Share your theory respectfully in the comments below. And if you happen to be near Varna Airport in July of 2014 and remember anything unusual, even something as simple as a man running across a field, please consider contacting the appropriate authorities until we get that one missing detail. This file stays open. Thanks for watching, and if you found this case as compelling as we do, please consider subscribing for more deep dives.